Hi guys, welcome back to Geeks 40K channel and welcome to our latest 40K battle report. Today, a Rampaging Ork warband has landed on a remote Imperial planet and has completely and utterly decimated it, and the local population has fled. All that stands in the way of the Orks and total victory is a small band of the Black Templars. Today's mission, we are doing the Emperor's Will, which is 2 objective markers, one for the Orks and one for the Black Templars. The Black Templar objective is hidden away at the back of the battlefield in one of the ruined and burnt out buildings thanks to the Ork warband, and the Orks objective is hidden away on the middle floor of the old Mechanicum building. Now, you may have noticed we have 2 of the Plasma Annihilator cannons on the table. These things are beautiful. There is one on each end of the town. These have been protecting the city, but as the city fell, the gun crews disappeared, and to be honest, I do not blame them. So they are in play. However, a little bit of a house rule. What we're going to do is, if you can get a squad inside one of these turrets, on a roll of a 1, 2 or 3, the gun is damaged and will not fire. 4, 5 and 6, it is free to fire and you can rain death and destruction down upon your enemy. But that roll will have to be made every single turn.
My HQ choice is a chaplain in power armor, and he's got a tech marine as a buddy with a servo harness. And then I've got 2 crusader squads, both 9 men. Both of them got power fists. One has a flamer as a special weapon, and one has a melt gun as a special weapon. Also got a sword brother embedded in each one of those with combi flamers. The rest are standard bolt pistol and chain swords. They each have a rhino as a transport. And then I've got a foot slogging squad, a 5-men crusader squad with a plasma cannon and a plasma gun, and bolters. And then for heavy support, I've got a Trilas Predator, and I've got a Vindicator. Nice big templates to drop on Orks, it's always good fun. And in the elite section, I've got a Contemptor Dreadnought with 2 Keris pattern assault cannons. And then in fast attack, I have a Storm Talon, and I've just found out that Rich doesn't have any flyers, so that makes that proposition quite interesting. But there you go, guys, that's my 1250 points worth of Black Templars.
HQ and Warlord for my Orks today is Grok Face Ripper. He comes equipped as standard with his power claw and his big combi shooter, hopefully laying into them stupid Umis. Over into troops, I am taking a 10 Gretchen squad with a runt herd. Second of my troop choices, I am taking a 12 boy squad. These have all been upgraded to Ard boys, so they've got the heavy armour. There is a power claw in here with the boss and a big shooter, and they are going to be in a truck. Second squad is exactly the same loadout. These trucks both have the boarding planks, and this one does have the wrecking ball. In elites, I'm taking a 5 knob squad. In here there are 2 big choppers and a power claw, so these guys will be accompanying Grok, and they will be in a battle wagon with a zap gun. Heavy support, I am taking a 5-man squad of flash gits. These all come with their usual guns, and they will be riding around in another battle wagon. Second of my heavy support, I'm taking a 10-man looter squad. There is a knob in here. And then finally we have the Death Dread. So this guy comes equipped with rockets and 3 close combat weapons. So that is my 1,250 points of Orky goodness. The first of the battle wagons and one of the trucks are on the left-hand flank of the battlefield, ready to gun their engines up as quickly as possible, getting into the Black Templars lines. We are also fully aware of the fact that we could drop a squad off, get into this cannon on the very first turn with an open truck. So that is quite tempting. Take my troop choices out and put them into that cannon. We have the Death Dread, the other truck and the other battle wagon in the middle of the battlefield, more towards the left-hand flank, looking at taking a lot of my force up the middle of the board, getting into combat with the Templars as quickly as possible. Now, this has left my Gretchen that are inside the Mechanicum building holding on to the objective a little bit exposed and a little bit on their own, because there is literally nothing here. But hey hoes, I can live with them dying. It's all about getting into the Templars and wiping them out.
So one of the two rhinos is behind the metal silo down here. A little run down towards the Gretchen and possibly dropping off at the plasma cannon on the way. I don't know. Haven't really decided yet. Then we've got Dreadnought looking to offer a little bit of support to that squad moving forwards. Trial as Predator, obvious target for that, of course, is going to be anything with armor 14, really. So a few things on the opposite side of the board that would be tempting. I've dropped a little squad of 5 guys on my own objective. They got a nice field of fire, which is pretty good and keeps them safe inside the building. And then I've got the other Rhino down the front, ready to make a charge down the middle of the battlefield. And the Vindicator standing, watching guard, waiting for the Orks to come across the battlefield and rain pipe plates of death on them. So that's my deployment. I feel a little bit thin on the battle lines, but hey, we're Space Marines, we're kind of used to the odds being stacked against us.
So it is Orks to go first, unless John can seize for the Black Templars. So if you roll me a dice, please, John.
You got it.
It's a 2. The first of my battle wagons has revved his engines. He's gone the full 12 inches forward. He will be, well, he is really, really close now to the Templars. One more turn and these guys will be in the lines of these horrible Umi Space Marines. The truck has gone forward 6. I was really torn with the idea of taking this guy forward 12 as well, but the boys inside have got out. They are now inside the plasma cannon turret thing of doom. So I'm going to roll a dice in a little while to see if this is active or not. The Death Dread has moved up 6 and then has ran 4 inches. So again, Orks really pushing hard forward. The second of my trucks has moved forward a full 12, and so has my battle wagon here. And my Gretchen have obviously stayed still. So before I start shooting anything, I need to know whether or not this plasma turret is working or not. So on a roll of a 1, 2, 3, it is deactivated this turn. On a roll of a 4, 5 or 6, it is active. So I'm going to roll the dice. It is a 6. Blessed be the SN Battle Reports logo. The looters have opened fire with their guns. They could just about see the Black Templar Rhino, and they managed to take off 1 hull point from it. John managed to get some saves as my looters were firing through. My Death Dread, the Ork boys inside of the Plasma Obliterator turret, have turned, they have aimed, and they have fired. But being Orks, we did scatter, but it wasn't enough to save the Rhino that was containing some of the Black Templar brothers down here. One of these guys died in the explosion. The plasma obliterator just ripped through the armour of this gun quite easily. It also killed off 2 of the Black Templar Crusader squad that was on inside the building. But these guys have rallied and they are good to go. There is no guarantee that this obliterator will work for me next turn. And Jonathan has got one on his side of the battlefield.
Starting with my Vindicator, just backing up basically, not keen on being an assault, so he's elected to back up. I think the building might give me a bit of cover from that Plasma Obliterator, but I'm not sure. But the main reason was just to stay out of assault. My I suppose command squad really effectively with the chaplain in there. Those guys, having been blown out of their Rhino, have scattered all over the place. But I've intentionally got my melt gun up close against that killer can jobby, whatever it is. It looks a bit scary. I might want to get that killed. I've got my plasma cannon up here as well. This guy, he's still in the fight, and I don't know what he's going to shoot at yet, but he's got options, let's put it like that. My Trilas, I've elected to back away from the battle wagon, which may seem counterintuitive, but I've also got my eyes on that killer can coming around the corner. Death Dread, that thing, the big red thing with arms and chains and whips and buzzsaws and stuff. The reason I've done that is my Contemptor Dreadnought has stepped around the building. He's got lots of dice to throw at the side armour, so I'm hoping with some good dice rolls. He's got 12 dice to throw down, so you'd like to think some of those will go through and cause a bit of damage, cause a bit of mayhem. And then finally, my other Rhino down here. I've pulled exactly the same stunt as Rich, having just seen how devastating that Plasma Obliterator can be. I've elected to move 6 inches forward, disembark, and get straight in the building and get straight on it. So we just need to see if that thing is in the game or not. Which it is. Which is good. So I'm going to be using that to maximum effect during the shooting phase. First shot was from the melt gun at the front of that squad. He took down the Death Dread. That went nuclear. And then it escalated pretty quickly from there, to be honest. So the Vindicator down here fired at the battle wagon. That went boom. 6 guys spilled out of that, which gave the Trilas Predator a nice target to be shooting at. Killed a couple more. There were 2 left. The plasma guy at the top here with the plasma cannon thought he wanted a bit of that action. Although you can see he's missing because the plasma cannon did what plasma sometimes does, unfortunately, and killed the Marine there. Unfortunately, he's dead. However, the guy underneath it in the same squad saw his chance to get some quick revenge, so a bolt round straight between the eyeballs of one of the guys down here. He's dead. The last man standing has seen wisdom and is legging it off the battlefield. He's failed his morale check. Moving around further to this side of the battlefield, my Contemptor Dreadnought opened up at the battle wagon, which was there. A lot of shots in there, a lot of carnage. That got destroyed. Also took out one guy in the explosion. And then for the final shot of my turn, the Plasma Obliterator, well, I managed to get the shot bang on target. I was thinking about taking out that truck bang on target. However, can you believe it failed to penetrate the truck's armour? I managed to get a roll of a 1, which is pretty feeble. So, not the best end of the turn, but all in all, quite a successful turn. Pretty happy with that.
The truck on the left-hand side of the battlefield has left his boys sitting inside the Plasma Obliterator turret. He has moved up 6 inches. The big shooter is looking at putting his fire down onto the Black Templar squad down here. But the second of the boys' squads has gotten out of their vehicle. They're nicely within assault range. There'll be more big shooter shots coming into this squad before going into assault, and also hopefully joining them in assault will be my Warlord and the Knobs. Now it is like a 9-inch charge when you're taking the fact they're going through cover. The only other thing to have moved this turn is the turret on the Plasma Obliterator. It is eyeing up a shot at the other Plasma Obliterator turret. It does have a Contemptor Dreadnought and a Rhino there just in case it scatters. But first, we need to see if this Plasma Obliterator is in play this turn. I roll a 1. It is not. It is not functioning this turn. The Orks inside are smashing it as hard as they can, trying to get it to work. All of the Orks' firepower fell on the Crusaders squad with the chaplain in. They took 2 casualties. 2 guys have gone. So we are going to be going into assault down here. It's quite annoying that Plasma Obliterator did not fire this turn. The looters down here in the ruins of the cathedral opened up at the Contemptor Dreadnought all the way down here across the battlefield. Managed to get 5 hits, which is pretty good for Orks. Managed to roll 1-6, which is a glance, and then Jonathan failed his save, so we are down a hull point. My war boss and the knobs did not make it into combat, so the boys went in and they went in on their own. Wow, these Black Templars hit and hit hard. They killed off 11 of my boys, just leaving the boss knob with the power claw to go in. He did manage to kill off three. Managed to kill off 3 of the Crusader squad. Yeah, he's going to get pulled down next turn because, well, just because of the numbers that are left, and then it's going to be over to my boss and the knobs to go in and kill off the Warlord and this other squad. That did not go according to plan.
So the Vindicator has put an appearance in from around the building. I'm taking the gamble that I'm not going to have a Plasma Annihilator around in the face because I'm getting a bit close to the Orks around me and it might scatter. But I don't know, Rich is sometimes a ruthless commander, so you never quite know. But it has got a line of sight to chuck a template that away into the building. Obviously there'll be some cover saves in play there, but that could be quite a devastating round if it all goes according to plan. Because this building is blank faced, I've got no line of sight on that squad in the centre there, so I've elected to keep the Trilas where it is and fire all the weapons at the truck that's peeking around the corner. Obviously these guys are stuck in assault, so they're not going to be doing anything. This guy needs to take a morale check because he's on his own, poor little fella. So we'll do that in a second and see whether he's got anything to contribute this turn or not. Storm Talon's in. No prizes for getting where that's going to be shooting. So we're going to add a little bit of weight of firepower in there. Again, cover save is going to be in play, but could be, again, pretty devastating if that goes according to plan. And then Contemptor Dreadnought has also got a line of sight through the middle of the building there. And you can see where the Plasma Annihilator is aiming as well. The Rhino has left that, well, not left the squad behind, but I've elected to move it 6 inches forward. So I can still get out of that and hitch a ride. But by moving 6 inches, I can have a little pop shot at some of the Gretchen hanging out on that objective. So now we just need to determine whether the Plasma Obliterator's got a shot on this turn or not. So let's roll the dice and see what happens. Yeah, not this turn, unfortunately. My Trilas popped the truck down there, which is not a massive surprise, I suppose. It has also conveniently left a nice line of sight block for the big shooter guys at the back behind it, which is nice. The Vindicator had a go, dropping a shell across the battlefield. It did a little bit of damage, but not too much. My one guy here with a bolt gun failed his morale check, so he is thinking about leaving the battlefield at the moment, which is not ideal. What is ideal, however, is the Storm Talon came in and really ripped that squad apart down there, so they've been taken out, including the Warlord, with a bit of help from the Contemptor Dreadnought as well. So between those guys, they've annihilated that squad and the Warlord, so that's slay the Warlord for me, which is nice. Plasma Obliterator didn't want to get involved this turn, and a Rhino did put a round into that building to try and get some Gretchen dislodged from there, but unfortunately Gunner failed to find home with his shots. So the Chaplain and his squad made light work of the boss knob, and they've consolidated 5 inches back towards the objective up here, just in case the guy's nerve down here doesn't hold and he decides that he really doesn't want to play anymore. These guys are coming back to help shore up that objective.
The truck has moved up 6 inches. Its big shooter is aimed and targeted onto the Warlord squad down here, trying to kill a few off, but so has the Plasma Obliterator turret, looking at taking out as many of these guys as it can. Let's see if it's in play. No, it is not. The big shooter on top of my truck opened up at the Warlord's squad, killing off another one. My looters, all the way down here in the ruins of the cathedral, opened up at the Storm Talon, only managing to get 2 hits. Jonathan decided to jink and I caused no damage whatsoever, so he will be snap firing next turn.
So even with snap firing alone, managed to take out 3 looters with the Storm Talon, which is pretty good. That's okay. Down here, my Trilas is kind of out of targets, really, apart from the Plasma Obliterator. So I dropped a shot in there, and I've glanced it, so we've taken a whole point down from this face. I did also fire the Vindicator at it, which hit, but unfortunately failed to penetrate, which is a little irritating, but there you go. I did contemplate removing the truck from the equation, but I kind of figured if that thing fires, it could make a real mess out of this squad down here. So I thought I might try and bust it up a little bit. We're going to have to keep pummeling away at that. On the opposite side of the board, the Rhino got a shot into the building but failed to wound, and it turned out the Contemptor couldn't see any targets from where it's tucked down inside there. You can see it making its way through the ruins, smashing things as it's going, but at the moment no line of sight on the squad that's in there, so they're going to have to wait another turn.
The truck has moved up 6 inches now, just securing me line breaker. It's staying out of the way just in case my Plasma Obliterator turret can land its shell into these guys here. So let's see if this turn the Plasma Obliterator is in play. It's not. Again, the guys are stuck inside and it is malfunctioning left, right and centre. The looters have opened up at the Storm Talon, getting no hits whatsoever. It's a pointless turn 4 for the Orks.
So my Contemptor Dreadnought continued his traipse across the battlefield, leaving a trail of destruction in his wake. However, when he got over to here, if you take a look from the model's point of view, he still couldn't see the Gretchen in the building because they're too small and he couldn't see them because they were hiding behind the walls, which was a little bit irritating, so he didn't get shot. But I also elected to move my Rhino forwards, and these guys got out. And by golly, they did some damage. So we didn't flame them once. We didn't even flame them twice. No, we flamed them 3 times. So the Tech Marine got stuck in with his flamer. The Sword Brother got stuck in with his flamer. And there's a flamer in that pack as well. And between the 3 of them, basically just toasted that building, set it alight, and you can see it's totally cleared out. So these guys just absolutely mullered that squad there. All the Gretchen and the Runt Herder are all dead. At the opposite end of the battlefield, the Trilas Predator has been busy as well. Managed to hit home 3 times with its las cannons, and the Plasma Obliterator suffered a detonation event, and you can see it's gone boom. 4 Orks got killed in the explosion. The rest of the squad managed to stumble out, unfortunately, straight into the path of the Storm Talon, which pretty much mullered the squad. This guy is clinging on to life right now and probably looking for the nearest cover to run away. So that was pretty unfortunate for those guys to get caught in an explosion and then just happen to be hit by a passing fighter. Unlucky for them. Down here, the truck was a little bit more lucky. You may regard it as a suicide shot, but I did fire the Vindicator over here. However, it scattered off the board, so the truck lives for another turn.
So there we go then, guys. That is the end of the game. It is a win for the Black Templars. They have managed to not only push back, but pretty much annihilate the Orks that were on the rampage on this Imperial planet. It has been saved for the glory of the Emperor. It needs some rebuilding work to be done, but once again it will be a star in the Imperium. Okay then guys, so we're going to do something new at the end of the battle for Geeks 40K. We're going to do a little bit of a list analysis and how our armies got on in the fight and what could have gone better. So I'll start with my Orks. Yeah, that could have gone a lot better. The strength of the Orks is assault and to combat. I only managed to get 1 squad into combat. They all rushed forward at the start of the game. I took a squad into the Plasma Obliterator turret, and that possibly was not the best thing to do. I maybe should have taken both squads into the Templar with the Warlord in. They hit, and they hit hard. And normally boys in combat should drag down Space Marines, especially when there's 12 of them on the charge. They should do that, but they just failed, and the Templars mullered them. What behaved well? Nothing really for the Orks. I lost my Death Dread really early. I lost my 2 battle wagons really early. My flash gits did nothing. They literally ran off the board in the end. My looters, they did okay. It's quite a fluffy list for the Orks. That's not that, you know, my knobs on bikes aren't in there. My pain boy's not in there. It's quite a fluffy list. It's more up in the face which I did do at the start of turn 1, but then just the charges of the war boss let me down, and the plasma obliterator not firing for 2 turns also let me down, and that squad are tied up in that building. So yeah, it wasn't the best. How about you, John?
Well, I've got to say, first of all, you were really unlucky. There was a lot of lucky dice rolls from me and some pretty poor saves, that sort of thing, from your side. So,
as normal.
Well, I mean, that's the joy of a dice game, isn't it? There's always an element of chance.
Yeah, there is.
I'd say, overall, the things I'm impressed with, the Contemptor Dreadnought is awesome. You can't argue with chucking down 12 dice, especially when you've got a lot of targets like Orks.
Yeah, it is designed, the Chaos Assault Cannons are designed to just muller Orks and kill them quite easily.
Yeah, and at AP4, there's just no comeback from that most of the time. I was really impressed that squad at the end, piling out of a Rhino, and when you've got an option with Black Templars to take 3 Flamers in the squad. I wish I'd got more Flamer models, actually, because that was really, really good. With 3 Flamer templates, you can clear out a building, no problem at all, and you just saw what happened there right at the end. I'm like, okay, they were Gretchen, so they weren't a tough target, but they just still got wiped out.
No, but your Crusader squad did well as well in combat with my Orcs. So
yeah, that was quite lucky.
There was a chaplain in there, so your Warlord was a chaplain, which gave them Zealot, so that's always a bit of a bonus in assault.
It does help, that's for sure, yeah. I didn't expect it to go that well, to be honest, looking at the amount of boys that were piling in. I think if your Warlord had made the charge, that would have made a completely different turn. Yeah,
and like I say, I mean, losing those 2 battle wagons didn't help. The flash kit should have just drove around the battlefield, laying down lots and lots of fire. That didn't happen. The war boss and the knobs got blown out of the battle wagon a turn too early. And there's only really 1 squad that made it into combat. So like I say, it wasn't overly the best one for Orks. So then, guys, that is pretty much it from us two for this battle report. Let us know in the comment section below, do you like this little summary at the end of a battle report or not? Is it something you want us to see a little bit more? And please leave us a like, it does help out the channel, and why not subscribe if you haven't done so already, and we will see you guys on the next one.